Welcome in. Happy Tuesday. Day early. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. I didn't want to skip it. I got to travel tomorrow. I didn't want to skip it. I didn't want to do it late Wednesday night from a hotel room. I figured we would just do it right now. If you are tuning in for the first time, welcome. If you're tuning in for the 1000th time, welcome back. We are going to spend the next hour or so going through mostly whatever you want. Get your questions, your concerns, your comments in the chat. WM Phoenix Open. There's a live golf event that I've loaded into this database. There's a European Tour event that's got salaries loaded into the database. We can talk weather. We can talk one and done. We're certainly going to talk one and done. I've got just some takes on there's so many props for this week. Some of them look horribly priced. I was looking through it for my newsletter earlier. Just there's some weird stuff going on, but this time is mostly yours. I take the time at the top. You get the rest of the time. So everybody's filtering in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. The reason that we are doing this on Tuesday is because I am going to be on the call for PGA Tour Live this week. So that is very exciting. There is a betcast for this week. They have ramped up the betcasts 8x from last year. Last year, it aired for 50 hours. This year, it's airing for 400 hours. They're like 8-hour shows now instead of 2-hour shows. If you've never seen it, I think they get better every week that we do it. We learn a lot. It's still very new, but we learn a lot. It's just trying to whip you around, right? These groups, these holes, these players, this situation, whatever we can go to, we're going to. We'll throw data and odds around. We'll have a lot of conversations. We've never done an 8-hour show. I don't know what an 8-hour show is going to look like. I'm nervous. Can I go to the bathroom at any point during those 8 hours? Do I have to hold it? I have trouble holding it for the entirety of this show. How am I going to do it for 8 hours? I don't know. Those are questions I've got to figure out, but I'm traveling tomorrow. If you could tune in this week, even if you don't watch, just put it on in the background. That would be very helpful, I think, for all of us. That is part one. Part two is our contest for this week on Splash. And every contest moving forward will be total strokes. Hat tip to you guys. Total strokes filled way before the money did. You guys have voted with your entries and you have won. So this week's contest is total strokes, $25,000 guaranteed, $25 in entry. Somebody's going to win $3,100 for picking one of 6 players from each tier. Wait, no. One player from each of 6 tiers. Top 5 scores count. Okay, that's very fun. The other very fun thing is I've just made my annual donation to what I think is the biggest guaranteed one and done on the... Actually, I shouldn't say that. In terms of entry fee, because ours was bigger. But this is a $3,500 one and done that starts this week. I know what you're saying. Holy shit, Rick, that's a lot. Yeah, no, it is. But I mean, there are definitely people who spend more than $100 a week, which is what this ends up being. And there are only 318 people in it. That's the max. Guaranteed at $1 million. Somebody's going to win $200,000. Somebody's going to win 155. Somebody's going to win 103. I think this is a one. I don't know the origin of this one and done, but I think it started offline and then a couple years ago came online because there's these little there's segments involved in it. There's like the longest cut streak wins $7K. The guy who finishes dead last, as long as you make a pick every single week, gets $3,500. Most top 10s outside. Like there's like other ways to win. So this feels like somebody and their buddies did this offline and now brought it online. So it's pretty cool. I've donated to it the last couple of years. I have not cashed in it. I am back in it again this year. Links in the description, or you can find it on Splash. All right. Weather for this week. It's Scottsdale. It's February. The weather's generally quite good. If you look at the weather forecast, so this is Weather Underground, you can see that Thursday morning there is a little bit of wind, 6 to 10 miles an hour. That's really it. I had someone in the Discord post about gusting in the on Thursday. I couldn't really find that. I went to all my little wind finder, made sure I was at the closest weather station to the golf course. I went through this. I mean, overnight gusts on Thursday to 16 miles an hour. But by the time we get to tee times, 8 a.m., no gusting whatsoever. So I'm not sure if the forecast has changed, but this looks about as darn clean as I could have ever have imagined. Yeah. Okay. And then finally, one and done. So that page on Office Football Pool just doesn't exist anymore. I don't know. Doesn't exist. I'm using Poll Genius's pick popularity to see who's going to be the most popular picks. They have like a 3-point system. I don't know what their criteria is for each one of these tiers. It was pretty accurate last week. So they predict McNeely, Matsuyama, and Cam Young to be on the higher end of popularity. Makes sense. Siwoo Kim, Jordan Spieth, Sahith, Ricky Fowler, Jake Knapp, Ben Griffin, and Sam Burns are in the next tier. 2 dots, whatever that means. 1 dot goes to Goddard, Spawn, Hall, Fitzy, Nick Taylor, Højgaard, Schauffele, English, Hovland, Cootie, and then nobody else with any dots, which I guess is the least amount of projected ownership. So the way that I see this right now, yes, you're saving Scotty Scheffler, of course. I like using McNeely. I like using Siwoo Kim. I like using Cam Young. I don't necessarily think you need to use Hideki. I actually used Hideki in some spots last week because Hideki does have a couple other spots moving forward that are going to be pretty good for him. You've got Muirfield Village. You can quite honestly, play him at like Augusta if you really wanted to, right? Like there's going to be a lot of places to play Hideki moving forward. Outside of that, if you wanted to go, I think I've got a little bit of, I think I have one entry of Sahith. I might have one of Ben Griffin. I've got to go check. But after that, I kind of, threw little darts. But mostly McNeely, mostly Young, mostly Siwoo Kim for me. All right. Whew. Let's get to it. Evan's going to start us off. He says, in a single entry, do you prefer Scotty with mid-priced McCarty, Bezadenhout, Minwoo, or build of several top end together? Generally, I like Scotty and the dweebs is what I would call it. Scotty and the zits. Okay. It's hard to come up with the adjectives to describe what Scotty's doing, what he's done on this golf course, the likelihood that he finishes inside the top 3. In fact, most sports books have that about even money, a top 3 finish for Scotty Scheffler. So if he does finish inside the top 3, he's very likely to be in the optimal lineup. If he doesn't, and he finishes T6, T7, it would depend on who else, like if Xander won, that would obviously not be great, but like it would depend on who else beats him of whether he's in the optimal lineup or not, or whether he was worth it. I think that I prefer getting as much as Scotty as I can, and then finding those Matt McCarty's. Actually, I updated ownership. Let me refresh this. It should be coming through. Yeah, there we go. Getting the, where are we at? Christian Bezadenhout at 5%. Getting the Andrew Novaks and the Sam Stevens, Rico Hoey, like that. I'm okay with that. I think there's a pretty big gap between Scotty and everybody else, and not a huge gap between, let's say, 8,200 and 7,200, if that makes sense. Have you ever thought about starting a weekly DraftKings group? Probably not. There's just so much going on with the splash stuff and the one and done and everything else. There's just so much going on, quite honestly. Has Siwoo entered a tier of golfers you'd rather save in one and done? Or would you rather strike while the iron is hot? That one. Strike while the iron is hot. What's Siwoo's best golf course? Is it, I can tell you, but is it Wyndham? Is it, let's pull it up together here. I don't know what Siwoo's going to do in 2 minutes from now, let alone 2 months from now or 6 months from now. And that's a little bit scary. So his best golf course is with enough starts that we're going to play this year. TPC San Antonio, he's got 1 top 5 finish. He's gaining 1.1 strokes per round, Wildlife we're already through. Torrey we're already through. PJ West we're already through. Austin Country Club's not on the schedule anymore. TPC Summerlin's not on the schedule anymore. We're through La Quinta. Sedgefield. Harbor Town, you're not going to play him there. That's a signature event. Muirfield Village, you're not going to play him there. Augusta National, you're not going to play him there. River Highlands, you're not going to play him there. Signature event. I mean, unless he goes on a run. And then RSM Classic, which is not on the schedule. So, by process of elimination, like you're using him now or TPC San Antonio. So, I prefer to use him now. What he's done to start the year is really strong. Obviously, the 3 straight top 11 finishes. The ball striking metrics are second to only Scotty Scheffler. The putter over the last 8 rounds has been a 0, which is all we're really asking from him. If you look at his history around this place, a lot of bad putting and a lot of good putting. The last 3 have been very positive. Like he's gained 5.5 strokes over his last 12 rounds, which I would take any of that right now. I would take a 0 of that right now. If Siwoo Kim goes out and finishes in any one of these positions, T11, T6, T2, which he's done in his first 3 starts, I think you're pretty happy with the outcome. So I just don't see a lot of other places to play him. Hey, Rick, I'm going to the WM. Sweet. My first ever PGA Tour event. Sweet. I want to put a bet in that gives me a sweat but conservative. Do you recommend top 10? Yeah, I mean, I guess this is a lot of personal preference, but what day are you going? Because if you're going on Thursday or Friday, you're not worried about anybody missing the cut. Yeah, you could do something like a McNeely top 20. Feels pretty conservative, right? You know, he's got back-to-back top 10 finishes here. He's playing great golf. He should be around that number. It's probably minus, I don't know what the number is for him to finish inside the top 20. But that he's not a super volatile player, so that feels a little bit conservative. The things you'd stay away from would be like the volatile guys, right? Like the Naps, the Koepkas, the Hovlands. You'd go for more consistent guys like Cam Young, Ben Griffin, McNeely. Have a good time. I was trying to figure it out on your site in the custom model builder. Is there a way to build a model that gives you a look at edge? Yeah, first round leaders. Yeah, so here we go. So this is new for this year. So all of this that I've been showing you is my website, rickrowangood.com. So go to the custom model and, you know, you can still put in your, I would still do something where you put in non-first round stuff. So just do, you know, let's say you just wanted to do 25 on strokes gained total, 25 on strokes gained approach. Go to strokes gained distribution and then put some on gaining 4 and 5 strokes to the field for a first round leader. And then go to scoring and put the rest on strokes gained round 1 and then strokes gained round 1 relative. So that is relative to themselves. Right? So a little bit of combination. Are you good in round 1 and are you better than yourself? It doesn't matter if Scotty Scheffler is good in round 1 if that's his worst. I mean, it still does, but you get my point, right? So you get some really interesting names here. Scheffler, Cam Young, Johnny Kiefer, Daniel Brown, Xander Schauffele, Victor Hovland, Rasmus Niergaard Peterson, Matt McCarty, Ricky Fowler, Christian Bezuidenhout. You know what else I was looking at? And this is very anecdotal because I just stumbled on this. Pearson Coody in the first round is pretty diabolical. Watch this. He has beaten the field. It's going to take a second to load because I'm running my screen recorder. He has beaten the field in round 1. In 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, in 12 straight. And in the 5 events that he has played since the start of last year across the Korn Ferry Tour and the PGA Tour, he has only lost strokes to the field 5 times in the opening round. That's pretty good. I just stumbled on that. Are you considering losing some juice on outrights and placing bets in the winner without Scotty market? I'll bet Scotty this week. I don't have a problem with that. The outright portion of my betting card is like much smaller than what I do for finishing positions and matchups. So I don't usually get into the without Scotty market. Sometimes I fall victim to it, but I usually don't. And especially this week where I will probably just lay a bomb on Scotty. Scotty might be my only outright this week. I haven't made that click yet, but it just might be only Scotty and then just a bunch of guys that I like in finishing positions. Cam Young, top 10. Maybe Goddard up top 10. Cootie, top 20. McNeely, top 10 or top 20. Get down into some of the some of the guys at the bottom of the board and get them into top 40s, like maybe Rio Hisatsune, maybe a Michael Brennan situation like that. That'll be such a larger portion of my portfolio than anything else. What makes a good off the tee player at a place like TPC Scottsdale? Guys like Knapp and Wyndham who swing hard have been pretty bad off the tee. Yeah. So the thing with TPC Scottsdale is you can't be too wild. If you are too wild, you start to get into the desert and you start to get into penalty strokes with the water. So that is a way to rack up a really bad off the tee number very, very quickly. So what you'll see is there's a huge range of outcomes. I think I know what you're referring to with Knapp. I think one year he lost something like 5 strokes off the tee here. There is probably a 10-shot difference between a good week and a bad week for Knapp off the tee. If it's bad and he's hitting it in the desert and he's hitting it off the, he's hitting into the water, he might lose 5 strokes. And if he does kind of what Michael Brennan did at the Black Desert, which is thread all the needles and really become hit a bunch of fairways and avoid the trouble, he could gain 5 strokes because a lot of other guys in the field are fighting that trouble. So there's a huge range off the tee here. That's the way that I see it. And that's kind of what the data backs up as well. Do I think Rio Hisatsune has leveled up? I don't, because I think he's always been this player. He's always, what he did at Torrey Pines is very similar to what we've seen him do at other times, at other points in his career. Very sound tee to green player. And then he popped and got those 4 strokes with the flat stick. Anytime he picks up strokes with the flat stick, you're going to see him at the top of the leaderboard. He only picked up less than 1 at the Procore in Napa and finished T13. Charles Schwab Challenge, he picked up 3.7 and he finished T6. I'm never really worried about, same thing here with these 2 top 5s from last year. Picked up 4 strokes putting, T4, picked up 2 strokes putting, T5. So I'm never really worried about that. He's just minus 4, minus 5 strokes are very much in the range of outcomes for him. So no, I do not think he's leveled up. I think this is who he is, and he's a very high upside and a very low floor player. DK has a closest to the pin prop. Yeah. All right. So I was messing around with a little tool on this. Okay. How do you win a closest to the pin? You win a closest to the pin by hitting like a very well above average shot, right? You got to throw a dart. Historically speaking, I think Jake Knapp has thrown 3 darts in 8 trips. 3 out of 8, 3 shots within 10 feet in 8 trips through 16. I think like Mackenzie Hughes is very live in this. Billy Horschel is very live. Christian EVR is very live. I did tweet out, this is not the exact thing that you're looking for, but I did tweet out this little graph that shows you average proximities on 16 from everybody in this field who has at least 8 shots. Ben Griffin, EVR are the only 2 guys inside 20, but that's not 20 feet is not going to win closest to the pin, right? It's got to be something inside that, but you can get some really good numbers. I saw Jake Knapp was like 88-1 or 100-1 to be the closest to the pin in round 1. So I would find, like, quite honestly, 8 to 10 of those and just have a fun day with it, right? You know, it's EVR and it's Horschel and it's Knapp and it's Bezadenhout and Hughes and, you know, whatever. And then that would be like how I would sweat that. Do you have any problems going back to Gotterup? No. I think Gotterup and Cam Young are both firmly in the didn't do anything wrong last week group, right? Liked them both last week, and there is nothing that is really stopping me from going back to them. We talked about this after he won the Sony. The floor, because Chris Gotterup picks up a stroke per round off the tee, is so high. And we've got to, if he can pull the Michael Brennan thing, and if he can keep the ball out of the nasty stuff this week, he's going to gain like 7 strokes off the tee, like something stupid, right? And then you just have to see what else you're going to get. So no, Gotterup, Cam Young. I've just the same amount of exposure I've had to them for the last couple of weeks. Is Pock-Eater a good one here in the 6K range? I think there are a lot of others. Quite honestly, I don't think this is a great spot for him. It's too wild off the tee. The rest of his game isn't as sharp as I would like it to be. Thoughts on Seabez? He pops up in a lot of the 510 in the majority of the models I run, including the one you did on the show yesterday. Yeah, I saw that. So he gets a pretty big boost for a couple of reasons. Obviously, the putter, but he's turned into a little bit more than that as of late. Let me zoom out. There you go. Where he's picked up strokes on approach in, 4 out of his last 5 measured events. And the one that he lost was, 3 measured rounds at the South Course. If you look at his history here, this is that pop approach plus putting that you get from him, which often results in finishes that look like this: a miscut, a T28, and a T4. It's like, yeah, that's kind of right on board with him. So yeah, pretty positive. He's had a good time around 16, which I think is fun. The other thing I wanted to do, and I gotta pull this, but what I wanted to do is see the difference between guys the first time they go through 16 in their career and then like every time after that. As it doesn't get any smaller of a sample size than that, but I do think it would be interesting if you saw like their miss green rate double or something like that. I've been in the Coliseum, right? That's what they call it. I've been there. It's a lot. It's crazy. And those guys, man, they're feeling it. So it's pretty cool. Off to a slow start and one and done. Is Cootie a good option or better to pick someone who's played this event before and familiar with the atmosphere? Interesting. I would have to run the numbers on that. My sense on Cootie is that he's a pro's pro. My sense on Cootie is that I don't think he's going to care all that much. I'm pretty high on this kid. So I'm not too worried about that. I'm more worried about whether we need to use Pearson Cootie right now. But if you were going to use Siwoo or... Is Siwoo significantly better than Pearson Cootie? I mean, Siwoo's got 3 top 11s and Pearson Cootie's got 2 top 18s. Cootie's got a T2. I think Siwoo's got a T2 or a T3. Pearson putts better, drives better. Siwoo, I'm just talking myself into this now. I think you could use Pearson Cootie. Hey Rick, am I missing something, or is Eric Cole? I lost it. Eric Cole at 6,900, a no-brainer to get Scotty in your lineup. I will tell you this. When I was running models and lineups earlier today. And on the ones that I locked Scotty, I got a lot of Eric Cole. I don't love it. I think if you guys follow along, you know that like I don't think very highly of Eric Cole at the moment. I think that he is short. I know that he is short and inaccurate. I know that he needs to putt well. I worry that he can put only 2 or 3 good rounds together, and the bad round that he puts together usually takes him well down the leaderboard. I mean, so here's his 3 starts this year. Cut T27, T27, and he has been on the top of the leaderboard or on the first page of the leaderboard for like half of those days. And he's only finishing T27. That worries me. And if the wheels fall off, it's going to get ugly quickly. But I will tell you, like I modeled, like he got in a lot of those lineups. I'm very nervous about it. That is all. Is it time to run Minwoo out yet? Oh my God, Minwoo scares the crap out of me at this place. But let's take a peek. See, I love the way that he played in the fall, in the winter, and then to kick off his 2026. So he comes over to the American Express. We only have the 2 measured rounds at the stadium course at PGA West. He picks up strokes from tee to green in both, and he loses a stroke putting each one of those. Like, yeah, okay, no real surprise there. He putted a lot better on the DP World Tour. He putted a lot better at Sanderson before we kind of lost the shot link data. If you look at his history around this place, it is the T12 last year in which this is very, very fool's gold, right? When you lose strokes on approach and you lose strokes with the putter and you finish T12, it's like, oh boy. Picked up 7 strokes around the green. That's not going to happen again. I'm probably going to just chill away from Minwoo. Maybe some showdown, maybe some round matchups. I don't think I want a ton of 4-round exposure to Minwoo, especially in scenarios where there is a penalty for him missing the cut, like DFS or something like that, or one and done, of course. Are we officially declaring Sahith back? Oh, music to my ears. I was declaring him back well before I should have been. But this is good to see. The back-to-back top 10s, the putting is buoying a lot of it, but we're getting 3-ish really good rounds a week, and then one, not disaster of a round, but one like, could have been better. This is a pretty good stretch for him between Phoenix and, getting a couple other places on the next, month or so. And then before we get to the Florida swing, obviously, this is, I think first off, he's healthy, which if he's healthy, he's back, and he's healthy. So he's back. My gut is telling me to go with Wyndham Clark. You need to see a doctor if your gut is saying that. I've got gut issues as well. Did I have my appendix? No, I had my gallbladder removed. I've got gut issues. So I know gut problems. And you, my friend, have gut problems. I can't imagine a scenario in which this man, who is one of the most inaccurate drivers of the golf ball and has never gained strokes off the tee in Phoenix, who just had a complete loss almost at Farmers, who is, in my opinion, incredibly likely to miss the cut, could be your one and done. I'd rather play him at the US Open, quite honestly, than play him here, which, as I've rattled all this stuff off, and put it out into the universe, it ensures the fact that he's going to win this golf tournament. But you get my point. It's not for me. Can we get a Zach Boshu deep dive? Never heard of him until three weeks ago. This dude is a Corn Ferry guy, a Oklahoma State guy, right? He was on those, I think they won the national title. Victor Hovland, Matt Wolf, somebody else. Those teams. Very accomplished collegiate player. Took a lot longer to get to this point than some of his peers. He won late on the Corn Ferry Tour, got his card that way, and he's played 3 times and he's made 3 cuts. Some good stuff, some bad stuff. The T13 at the American Express was his best week. He gained strokes in all 4 rounds there. I think that he is a solid player who is going to be one of the more difficult guys to predict every single week. He still has lost strokes from tee to green in 2 of his 3 starts, and his best finish in the 2 rounds that we have measured, he picked up like, a third of a stroke in each one. It's not crazy good stuff, but someone to keep an eye on. Or at $6,200, I saw there's a question here: who are your favorite plays in the 6K range? I also thought I saw one that said something like, who is the cheapest golfer you'd play? I think Boshu is probably that guy. Just to put it into perspective, right? I think Boshu, I prefer him over Eric Van Rooyen. That would be kind of a deep cut. Adam Schenk coming off of the T11 is somewhat interesting. These would be the names down in the 6K range that I like would be my last man in. Andrew Novak. Yeah. What did he do? Is he just a Tory killer? Is that what we're getting out of Andrew Novak at the moment? 6.5 strokes on approach. By far his best week of the year. By far his best week in a long time, quite honestly. That's only 3 measured rounds. Putter was good. He's all over the yard. Last week was fantastic. I can't say that about any other start since RSM or really before that. I mean, he went from in a 3-week stretch, gaining a stroke and a half on approach, losing 11, gaining 1.8. And of course, he's got a T8 and a missed cut here. I don't know. Completely confuses me, Andrew Novak. You mentioned okay. You mentioned in the simulator that you run, it really liked Rose last week. Could you show us? Yeah, it's the tournament predictor. So what it does, in long story short, is it takes obviously it takes the odds, it devigs them because these sports books are greedy. Simulates the results of the golf tournament 10,000 times, then takes the results of those and looks for discrepancies between win rate in my sim and the win rate they have to achieve to be profitable with the devigged number. So the value column is the one that you want. So still, I still have Scottie Scheffler winning this 28% of the time, which makes him a positive value, which is why he's probably going to be my only bet. Corey Connors, JJ Spawn, Nico Echeverria, Colin Morikawa, Maverick McNeely, and Andrew Novak are all in the top 7. Then you get like Sepp Straka and stuff. So it also looks at, like you can see top 20, 10, and 5. You've got win rates, you've got make cuts, you've got money in there for average money made for one and done purposes. And you'll see some discrepancies, right? You know, Xander Schauffele does not have a great win rate relative to his DVIG number, but he's one of the higher guys for the money that he returns. And Corey Connors, JJ Spawn, same thing, right? They might not win as much, but they're going to win enough. There's a big difference between winning 1 out of every 20 sims or never winning and finishing 20th in all of them. So that's kind of what this looks for. I'll make Alex model. All right. Okay. He says he wants 10 on Bermuda putting. He wants 20 on approach from 150 to 200. Sorry. Fat finger. 20 on par 5s. 15 on off the tee, 15 on course history. All right. TPC Scottsdale, 15. 15 on strokes gained off the tee. And 20 on, what I like. Let's say, let's say you've got some good ones here. Let's say bogey avoidance. Like avoid the big number, right? Let's see what happens. This is Alex model. Scottie Scheffler, Cam Young, Mac Meisner, Jake Knapp. There's Bezadenhout again. Rasmus, I've already favored him this week. Ricky Fowler, S.H. Kim, Kurt Kitayama, JT Poston. Do you have thoughts on Bud Cauley? Not particularly. Bud Cauley, I think, is completely and utterly fine. I think for $7,000 and 2% ownership, you are not asking for a lot, and I don't think you're really going to get a lot. I think that he's got top 25 upside, but I think his ceiling's pretty capped. I don't think he's going to miss the cut too frequently, but I just don't know a pathway where he is significantly better or with a higher upside than a lot of these other guys. Rose all day. I did cover that already. I had an issue with this one. So it was Cam Young now or save for a big money event. That would be for one and done. I had the same question, and I was torn. I don't know. I would say I mostly opted to save him. I used him a little bit, but not if it was like I'm ready to roll him out at a signature event. I'll roll him out at freaking Harbortown. I'll roll him out at who knows? Who knows what he does? Maybe I'll roll him out in a major. I don't know. But I'm pretty high that I can wait on Cam Young. A lot of places. Remember when he was Rookie of the Year and he had like 7 runner-up finishes and they were at like 7 completely different golf courses. That's, I think, very, very highly of Cam Young. Is there any way to see saved models that you have created or other run good users? Not currently. So the thing is, like, none of that stuff gets saved, right? So that's to protect me, is that like I don't save lineups or models or all that stuff is saved on your own browser or your own computer or whatever. I thought about, I'm looking into a way that I could save my model in there. Like, hey, here are the weights that I've put in, but I don't know how I would do that for other users because that's not really how it functions. So a lot better chance that you'll be able to use my models as opposed to anybody else's. Koepka top 10 tee to green, top 5 around the green, top 20 approach in his first start. Fans will be juiced. Talk me out of it. Okay. Did you see how he putted? That would be talking him out of it. Yeah, I think I still think what I said the other day or a couple weeks ago rings true. I think he's going to get better each week. I think he put up an okay showing at the Farmers. I think he's going to probably finish better this week. And then I think by the time we get to Florida, Cognizant and whatever else he ends up playing, that's really when I'm going to likely deploy Brooks Koepka. There's a lot of risk in him losing another 5 strokes putting. I think there's a lot of risk in that. I'll match the field or whatever. I'm not going to do anything crazy, but I want to see what he does in the next couple of weeks. Do me a favor, hit subscribe. Thank you very much. I'm trying to get to like 100,000. I got to get to like 37,000 first or 38,000 first. I appreciate you. I'll just like lump a lot of these Jordan Spieth questions together. So I don't consider a lot of Jordan Spieth's course history anymore. A lot of what he did at a lot of places was, he crushed them when he was the number 1 player in the world. This is maybe a little bit of an exception because he's got 3 straight top 6 finishes, and that was even during some times that he played pretty poorly. I'm just not ready to call it all the way back yet. The approach play is still a little bit problematic. The putter at times can get ice cold. You can have him. I'll wait. I think there's just other guys I like better. Thought about what do you think about the strategy of having 2 entries in your pool? Yeah, there are a lot of scenarios in which I play the same guy in both. And there are scenarios in which I kind of hedge a little bit. Some weeks, I don't know the answer to this, but like last week, I probably just would have done Hideki in both, right? Something like that. Just thought he was the best play in the best spot. Just do that. Sometimes I split it up. And then as you start to split them up, then, your positioning with them kind of dictates who you start playing, right? If one of them is doing better and one of them is doing worse, you kind of play that off each other. So, yeah, no, especially earlier in the year, I'm not afraid to just do whatever feels right. Okay. I'm lumping some of these questions together, so I am jumping around a little bit. But there are similarities, and I want to make sure that I can answer them all as a batch. Can you rank Siwoo, Hideki, Knapp for one and done? And can you give a quick synopsis on why you ranked them that way? Siwoo 1 because I think you have to play him now or never. Probably Nap 2 because he's not going to be as popular, and I don't care if he misses the cut. I play one and done where, like, I'm not trying to get anything. Like, I don't care if you get a 6. Like, 6th place finish does nothing for me. I need all the money. So Nap is either going to win this golf tournament or miss the cut because of that range of outcomes that we talked about earlier with his driver. So I like that. And then Hideki, there's a lot of really good spots for Hideki, so I'll save him. I think Sung Jae is playing next week. Okay, the Adam Schenk stuff. So when I was doing it was mostly hole 16, but I was doing a lot of just like weird preparation for the bet stream this week. And yeah, like Adam Schenk did keep popping up a little bit. He didn't play really all that bad at the American Express. So he missed the cut at the American Express, but actually that is a bull. Just absolute lie. He played horrible. It was horrible. But the one measured round at the stadium course was not bad. The other two were like absolutely miserable. Then the Farmers was much better. The 3 measured rounds that we got were great, and he gained strokes in all 4. So I don't know if this was just a matter of, first off, he won 5 starts ago. Does anyone in the world remember that? Does anyone in the world remember that he won 5 starts ago? So maybe this is like, hey, I'm starting 2026. I was really bad at Sony. I was bad for 2 rounds at the American Express, and now I'm starting to figure it out and make those natural progressions because I'm a seasoned pro and I know what to do. And then I get to go to Phoenix where I've had like an okay bit of success with 3 straight top 25s. I would not be, and I think I might have mentioned it when I was going through last guy in. Schenk being your last guy in, I think, is completely fine. I think there were a couple questions there about Marco Penge, so let's grab that real quick. This is that question that I was talking about earlier. Who is the cheapest player you'd like to play? So Penge to me is a little bit safer off the tee than Jake Knapp is, but he doesn't putt as well, and we're still trying to figure out if he's a good enough approach player. So I think that he is a I don't want to say like a poor man's Jake Knapp, but kind of like that. So if you're stuck in the 70 in that range, or if you're feeling a little frisky in other formats, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. Okay. Again, I'm lumping, and I'm stacking. Trying to look at the course key stats page. Shouldn't these cancel out to 100? Let's just round. 9.4, 11, 15, 18, 17, 11, 6, 10.4. I get like a little over 98%, which is probably just me excluding the like recovery shots and stuff like that. Like there's some weird stuff that I have to take out. So maybe I don't understand that, but email me if I'm missing something. The Colin Morikawa question has arrived. I don't feel any different. This is a golf course. This is a golf course where elite approach play matters and elite distance control matters more than a lot of places. And I'm completely cool with that with Morikawa. And I'm completely cool with the way that he's going to drive it and the way that he's just going to keep it in play. Then I have no idea what I'm going to get. He's lost 7 strokes putting in 6 rounds here historically. That's 2023 and 2020. So you don't have to take that you don't have to care about that. But you should probably also care that he's lost a ton of strokes putting in his last 6. Like a lot. He lost 3 at the Sony, 1.7, 1, 3.7, 6, 3.3. I don't think we were anywhere close to him figuring out the flat stick. So how do we use him? Can we use him? Showdown? I mean, does he even have some days in which he gains with the putter? Kind of. One round a week. Yeah. Usually, or honestly, usually early in the week. First round leader. Props on his under in the opening round. Round one matchups or 3 balls. In the same way that when I get Scotty Scheffler for 4 rounds, I know more rounds are better for him. I actually think more rounds for Morikawa is worse. With like eventually the putter is going to be really crappy. So it's a difficult spot. It's a very difficult spot. Have you thought about putting a download on the custom model? I think I addressed that. Also, there are some things. So I get this question sometimes. Like I can't make the Holy Grail available for like bulk download. I've got data deals with tours that like prohibit that type of distribution. So some of that stuff is my hands are tied on. Here's the Johnny Kiefer. And if you haven't seen Johnny Kiefer, he's incredibly talented amateur. I think he got to #1 in the world amateur ranks. The short, small sample size that we have on him is really good approach play and pretty bad putting. He might have played this event before. No, I thought maybe he got in as an amateur at some point. So yeah, the good news. So especially coming off the Morikawa conversation, is Johnny Kiefer's $1,500 cheaper. So yeah, he's a bad putter. And he's a pretty good ball striker, but he is not as expensive as Collin Morikawa is, and he's not going to be as highly owned. So that is the difference between those two players, where statistically they're kind of similar right now. Here's the Corey Connors deep dive, because this is kind of interesting. Corey Connors, I think I was looking at this the other day. Corey Connors, since let's just go like the last 2+ years. So since the start of 2024, everybody in this field, I bet you Corey Connors has an outrageous top 10 and top 20 rate. He's got the 6th best top 20 rate in this field. And he has the 4th best top 10 rate. What is he missing? This column right here, the wins. So I do think that, like even my tournament predictor is almost guilty of like giving Corey Connors too much credit. But he's a fantastic player who just hasn't been able to get across the finish line. I don't know if that is mental. I don't know if it's physical. I don't know if it's just the fact that he just can't putt, but at least sometimes he does pop with the putter. At least sometimes he's putted well here. Half of his starts here, he's been a positive putter. My prediction is Corey Connors finishes like somewhere between 11th and 19th. And I think it's going to be a pretty good week for him. I think he's going to cash a lot of money. And are you going to trust Corey Connors on Sunday afternoon when Scotty's in the mix and, like some dogs are in the mix? I don't know. But I actually did a video for Scratch earlier this year. Betting Corey Connors top 20 and top 10 every week is like basically printing money. There's this question about Lucas Glover, and he looked good at, I'm sorry. He says he looked good at TGL. Oh my God, I can't even say it. When may we see him? Well, I imagine definitely when we get to the Florida swing, but I don't know. Is he going to play Pebble? I don't know. I'm assuming this is a Rasmus Neergaard Peterson question. RNP deep dive. So we finally got our first look at him in a proper PGA Tour event. And I was impressed. 3.2 on approach in 3 rounds at the South Course. Stroke off the tee. That's very similar to what he was doing on the DP World Tour. We've got a short game problem. Got a little bit of a putting problem. he is not alone in that, and he's a lot cheaper. I like Rasmus Njergaard Peterson. Also, I think he's kind of a dog. You know, he won at Royal Melbourne, which is an insane golf course. Finished third at the DP World Tour Championship, which is an insane field. Fifth at the Spanish Open, insane. T8 at the Omega European Masters, great field. British Masters, T3, like T12 at the US Open. All of his biggest finishes are at massive events. I think he's kind of a dog. Is there an unlikely player you think can win this event? All right. Let's do this logically. Let's go to the power rankings. Let's go to strokes gained distribution. Let's open this up to the last 100 rounds and see like who can just find 4 ceiling rounds. Okay. Haotong. I think Haotong could win this. I know that's crazy. I think Haotong could win this. He's a maniac, and he's very talented. Has he ever played here? Had to have been years ago if he did. No. Look at these numbers. Look at him to start 2020. Actually, this is really good. Look at him to start 2026. +4 ball striking, +7, +7. T55, T8, T11. He just picked up right where he left off on the DP World Tour. I legit think Haotong could win this golf tournament. I'm in a 3 and done with points being determined by hole scores. What? And FedEx Cup points rather than money. Is the course fit too good to exclude? I'm in a 3 and done with points being determined by hole scores. What are you talking about? Like this, like you pick 3 guys. Okay, so if Scotty makes a 4 on number 1, I have no idea how that works. I'm interested. I have no idea how that works. I cannot give you a proper answer on that. I have no idea what you're talking about, but it sounds interesting. If you're just joining, here's the 1 and done ownership, like the overview. McNeely, Hideki, Cam Young, your most popular. I'm probably playing more Siwoo Kim because he's not going to be in that first tier, and I don't think I can use him anywhere else. I've also used a little bit of McNeely. I've also used a little bit of Cam Young. If you want to use Sahith, I don't have a problem. If you want to use Jake Knapp, it's a little bit riskier. I don't have a problem. That's probably the short list for me. If you want to go to Goddard or Brooks or whoever else, that's fine. But it's kind of what I'm doing. Ownership on my website is there. It's on the cheat sheet and it's on the custom model. I just loaded it in before we start. So first run is usually around about this time, Tuesday afternoon or Tuesday morning, my time really. And then as the week goes on, multiple times throughout that. I have not made a bet yet. And you should not bet what I bet. But in general, I think I'm going to end up on 1 outright on Scotty. Cam and Goddard up top 10. McNeely top 10, top 20, something like that. Haotong now has got to be involved after I just saw that profile. Cootie and Morikawa, first round leader. Some weird props like 6 to 8 guys for round 1 closest to the pin, like Knapp and Bezadenhout and EVR and Mackenzie Hughes and Billy Horschel. I should write all these down so I don't forget. But that. Rick, please have the golfer's name on screen when showing the profile. Oh, you mean this? Yeah. It does say Andrew Novak here. I guess that's pretty small. But it is up there. It is weird, right? Like I have this website that I show. Like I want to design the website so that people can use it properly. But I also want it to be presentable on YouTube, which are two kind of contradictory use cases for a golf data website that I own. It's kind of weird. Mook Man is wondering about Ryan Fox. Let's take a peek, see. 6,700. Has not played in America since the BMW, but he's played okay. Nothing bad, nothing great. Couple top 15 finishes on the DP World Tour. Some solid metrics. Okay, it is better. I don't know if he got tired at the end of last year. Long year. Got the W, the back, the 2 wins at Myrtle and Canada. Kind of limped to the finish line of the playoffs. And I think the time off, the month off, really did him well. So yeah, this is a good call, Mook Man. Ryan Fox could definitely win this golf tournament. Talking about who could actually win this event from down low. Ryan Fox. Love the second cut. Yeah, we're doing the second cut here in just a couple hours. 6 p.m. Pacific, or 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific on Second Cut YouTube channel. It's more news and storylines. We're going to talk a lot about OWGR and Live. Mark Immelman and Greg Ducharme and I will do that. So thank you, Chris. Thoughts on McNeely versus Hideki? It's probably still Hideki, right? But I do love McNeely. I'd probably stay away from that. Do we just bet Scotty and one without each time he plays? Honestly, I doubt many of us are doing this as our sole source of income. And I imagine most of us are doing it for entertainment purposes. And if we happen to win, great. Yeah, you should probably just do that. Right. Oh, this is very kind. Thank you for the content that you put out and provide. Hoping for a prosperous week. Thank you. That's very sweet. Let's test your Rick Run good. Oh boy. All right. Tell me about recent form for live replacements players Miguel Tabuena, Ollie Snyder-Jans, Ben Schmidt. All right. Let's see what we got. Miguel Tabuena. $6,400 on the live golf field. He played the Saudi International, which was Riyadh Golf Club, at the end of last year, T11. Picked up 7 strokes to the field. Singapore finished strong, quite honestly. So he won an international series event in the Philippines and then had a great finish to the year. He's playing great golf. Ollie Snyder-Jans, I think he also played in live golf promotions, though don't quote me on that. He's not as strong. So he filled in a little bit last year in the summer on live. Didn't really do much. Won an international series, but that was almost a year. That was a year ago at this point. 2 missed cuts. His fall was not great. T11 in Singapore, T60 at Saudi. They're playing at Riyadh Golf Club again this week, aren't they? And then finally, Ben Schmidt is okay. Played last week in Bahrain, T16. Very good profile, very good tee to green. This makes me feel a little bit more comfortable as well, playing on the DP World Tour as consistently as he is. So yeah, Ben Schmidt seems like a pretty good play. If it's on one of the PGA Tour, Korn Ferry Tour, Senior Tour, Live Golf Tour, DP World Tour, or Asian Tour, I've got it. I've got the strokes gain metrics. I've got the data feeds. I've got it. What will Scotty's DFS ownership be? As of right now, I'm seeing about 37%. This is hard. So it says top 2 favorite golfers outside of Scotty. So, without knowing what this is for, I'll just say this. It's so hard. Siwoo and Cam Young. Because I think Siwoo is kind of just like a 1 week only thing. Once Siwoo takes a break, I might be taking a break from Siwoo. And then Cam Young's kind of the opposite. I think he's legit everywhere. Make the cut parlay. Who would you avoid out of these players? The options are Berger, Kitayama, McCarty, Poston, Bridgman, Cootie, Connors. Oh, Poston's got some downside in him, doesn't he? One sec. Watch this. Can I do... How often a golfer loses 2 strokes or more? Yeah, I can. Give me a second. Here's Bridgman, 18%. It's not the end of the world. Where's Poston? Yeah. God. Poston is a problem. I would probably avoid Poston. Did I? It says you went 3 for 3 last week, so I have to ask again. Who are 3 players in the 7 to 8,900 range that are lock-ish to make the cut? Oh, did I last week? Oh, and there were a lot of guys that missed the cut last week. So between 89 and 7,000. All right. Let me just put those in. Cootie. Fowler. McCarty. Good luck. Yes. Any word on the Rick Run Good Discord? Yeah, we're rocking and rolling. So, it is currently open. I'm trying to do this somewhat strategically so I don't miss anybody. But all the people who were previously on Slack have been invited over. I have not sent out an email yet, but if you are a Rick Run Good member, if you go to the My Account page, there's a link to get you into Discord, or a little button. So if you go to rickrungood.com, go to My Account, you click the Discord thing, it gives you like a little badge and it gives you access to all the channels or whatever. Okay. Then there are a couple other groups that I need to get access to that I can't drop like 2,000 people in it at the same time. Right. So I'm trying to roll this out. So I'll send an email out to Rick Run Good members, but if you're hearing this right now, there should be a little button in your My Account page that gets you in there. I imagine that everyone, like I'll have the full, like it'll just be like, oh, maybe like a week. Okay, I'm just making sure I'm answering these. Shout out Mina for putting in work behind the scenes. Yeah, she's the only reason anything gets done around here. Mac Meisner or John Perry? I like the trio of like Perry, Dan Brown, Jordan Smith, like the 3 Euros, but I believe it's still Meisner here. Let's pull up his. Yeah, it's still Meisner. This is a hell of a lot of green. It's a lot of good finishes. He has not burned us yet, right? I mean, this is an extended period of really good play. So still Meisner for me. Okay, hear me out. Justin Gauthier, I don't know how to pronounce that, wins the UFC main event 2 weeks ago. Justin Rose wins the Farmers. Volkanovski wins the main event this past weekend. Victor Hovland has Volk scrambled in his name. I'm in. Victor does not like this event. You can see it in his results. I know. It's not fun at all. This is either the nicest comment or like the most jerky comment. It depends on how you read it. It says, care to give a further look at Harris English? You passed him over yesterday, but I was expecting him to set up well for this course. Or you could read it like this, like, care to give a further look at Harris English? Like I'm an idiot, which I am. All right. Here's Here's Harris English. Really bad approach play at the end of last year. And then this year, it's been one really good and one really bad. Harris English, when he's at his best, I feel like I've said this a million times, is a very well-rounded player. And when he does that, he tends to find success. He's played here a lot. And I don't think I can call this all that good. I mean, his great stuff was from 2014. He finished 9th. 2016, he finished 3rd. And since then, he's got more missed cuts than made cuts. His best finish is a T16. He's bleeding strokes on approach. He's bleeding strokes off the tee. He's very reliant on the putter. So there's just something that stinks about this. It just like doesn't pass the smell test for me. This is a super chat from Chris, which is never required. It is appreciated, though I don't see the comment, Chris. So I don't, maybe you're just sending over cash, which much appreciated. Hold on a second. Okay. DK has a green in regulation for 16 bet at plus 124, 86.5 players hit the green in round 1. DraftKings has put out some really bad bets this week. Don't bet that yet. Hold on one second. So there's 121 players in the field. So the historic green in regulation rate here on 16, give me a second. I have a dashboard that I'm pulling up. You're not going to be able to see it because it's not on my browser. It's in my backend database, but I'll just describe it to you. They have a birdie or better wager that is atrociously bad. You can only bet the over on it, and it's not even going to sniff the first level of birdies that for the week on 16. Their first level is like 89.5 or something like that. It's outrageous. All right. So we are looking at a historic like 70.6%, 121. So that gets us to 85 greens in regulation. So that number is probably fair because you add a couple more, you're getting a little bit of juice. That one's okay. That's a pretty fair number. The birdie or better number, I think I have it here. I was just looking at this earlier, is really bad. And they don't have the other side of it, of course. This one. There's going to be like 68 birdies made on 16 this week. They have over 79.5 at minus 420. Unless I have completely botched this, and I don't think I have, it is not even going to sniff this. We're talking about a historic birdie rate is 18%. So 121 players. Let's say they cut to 75. You get 392 chances at 16. With an 18, I'll bump it up. 18% birdie rate. We're at 70.5. 70.5. With a generous cut line and a generous birdie rate. They have over 79.5 at minus 420. They have the closest to even money being like 94.5. No chance, right? No chance. Drop the unders, DraftKings. I will rip the unders. So I actually think this is, and it's contradictory to this, which is round 1 birdies are better. So round 1 birdies are better. I think you're going to get like 21 of them. So, I mean, if you, over 21.5, over 20.5 is plus 260. Even over 17.5 is plus 106. Do you just like ladder all these? which is so contradictory to what, I guess it's not contradictory, but are they assuming everybody makes the cut? I don't know. Sorry. I got stuck down this rabbit hole earlier. The tournament birdie or better does not make sense to me. I don't think I can talk you out of McCarty, except from the sense that he'll be relatively popular for a guy named Matt McCarty. But he's playing the best golf that he has since he won 3 times on the Korn Ferry. He does really well at desert-style golf courses. His metrics this year are fantastic. Even back to last year are great. And he's a Scottsdale guy. Like, it's just, he's the landmine, right? Is he gonna bang us, or like, it's all there. Pick a Højgaard this week. I think it's very easily Rasmus. Any thoughts on Liv getting world ranking points? Talk a lot about this on the second cut later today, but in general, I think they should get them. I think they should get them. I don't know. I mean, they should definitely get them. I don't know what the right amount is, right? And I don't know. I think I saw that they're upset with it only being top 10. But it's a really top-heavy top 10. The thing is, like, don't take the DVig numbers. You're, like, never going to find a value. Okay? Some sportsbooks have gotten a little handsy with how much juice there is in the outright markets. So that's kind of the problem. I DVig them down to like a reasonable amount. So yeah, there might be some differences there. Again, if I was transacting 1 million transactions a day in the stock market and setting up, indicators of buy and sell, I would care a lot about 0.0001 percentages. I don't care as much here. So that's really what's happening. Which off the tee stat do you think is most important this week? Accuracy. What was the winning amount in last year's one and done? It'll probably be the same, Mike. Actually, it might be a little bit more because I think we started a little bit earlier, but same number of signature events. I think it was 25 million. We did the Hao Tong. We did the Ryan Fox. God, people, you guys love Jordan Spieth. I do too, but my God. Isn't it a little scary? Okay, here's the Garrick Higo. Let's look into this because he was awesome in the fall, wasn't he? So T7 runner-up, 4th, 16th, missed the cut to Farmers. I am probably going to forgive this. First start in 3 months, back from South Africa. I think we're going to get a better result. Okay results here. This is pretty sneaky. This is pretty sneaky. Did Ryan Fox. A lot of Ryan Fox. A lot of Jordan Spieth. A lot of people glazing me to try to get their questions answered. Please rank Harman, Batia, SH Kim, Yella Marjaru. Batia, Kim, Harman, Yella Marjaru. Wow. Okay. Now, and we've also got duplicates here. So that's good news. I think the chat has devolved. I don't mind. I'm at a 7 and done. Points are determined by birdies. All right. I think I've gotten Gate G. Okay. Billy Horschel is a viable option in the 6K range. Oh, wow. Scott, you did not need to do that. Ricky Fowler for 1 and done is yeah, he'd be like the 6th or 7th guy that I played. It's not the end of the world. All right, last question. Rick, as a data technology nerd, how is ShotLink able to send out shot locations so fast to the apps, the lie, the yardage, etc.? Well, I don't know if ShotLink uses this, but I do know that this is available. So they have the ability to, as soon as the shot is hit, with exit velocity, angles, spin, etc., to predict where it's going to land. So that's part of it. And then when someone actually punches it in, it like confirms it. So I've seen that in action, and literally it will predict while the ball's still in the air, it will predict where it's going to land, and it's pretty darn accurate. Other than that, I mean, it's by the time the ball lands, someone is inputting it within 3 or 4 seconds. And as soon as they're inputting it, it's getting pushed out. You know, it's just, I mean, yeah, it's incredibly fast. All right, I'll try one more time. Yella Margeru. Yella Margeru. Yes, I'm still doing Apocalypse Trivia. I think I got beat in my first matchup. The new season just started. All right, that'll do it. Good luck to everybody. Thank you for your support. There's all the contests you need are linked in the description. The betcast for PGA Tour Live, I do not know what time it is going to be. Oh, here it is right here. Oh, wait, Mina. Wait, Mina. It's right here. PGA Tour betcast presented by DraftKings. Thursday, 7 a.m. That's probably 7 a.m. my time. That's probably 7 a.m. Pacific. Betcast presented by... That's me. That's us. What happens if I click it? Anything? No. Has not started yet. Okay. That's probably 10 Eastern. So that's where I'll be. So I'm going to travel tomorrow, Thursday. Wow. We're starting. This is crazy. 8 hours. That's crazy. I'm nervous, honestly. All right. Tune in. That would be great. We're going to do the second cut later, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Mina, shut it down.